It's my pleasure to welcome you all to our 2023 Post-Secondary Planning Seminar virtually this year. Our guidance department truly works as a guidance team, and I'm going to introduce some of our team joining us this evening. I am Joy Bortnick, the guidance coordinator and advisor. Sarah Shortway is our assistant director, testing coordinator, and school counselor. Jackie Murray is our transition coordinator as well as a senior advisor. Michelle Beretta is representing the senior advisors. She also works in the admissions office. And Margie Lanevsky is with us tonight too as a senior advisor and one of our English teachers. We are so excited to have some representatives from colleges and transition programs who will be briefly speaking this evening at the end of our presentation. We're lucky to have them here tonight. We hope to have time at the end for some Q&As. Let's hold all the questions though until the end, and we'll put them in the chat box, and hopefully we can answer some of your questions. Remember though, we will have individual meetings for individual questions. So just sort of ask chat general questions on what we've talked about tonight. We'll answer a lot of these questions hopefully during our presentation. As expressed before, I am Joy Bortnick, the guidance coordinator here. I oversee and work with all the advisors. Our job is mainly to guide the seniors through the process. Tonight, we hope to cut the process down to size and ease the anxiety about post-high school transition. We will all be your go-to people throughout the upcoming school years. Most parents and students find this to be a very nerve-wracking and stressful time. However, we're going to be your calming influence for the students and for you throughout the years. We have found in our many years of doing this, the process really does go extremely smoothly with assistance of our team and parental support. We truly encourage continuous feedback and questions. Emails are typically the best way to communicate with us, but we take phone calls as well. The senior meeting is the first and important thing that you have to do. One of our staff members and a senior advisor will sit with the parents and the students to gather an appropriate list of colleges or program based on individual needs. The meetings are usually scheduled at the end of September, and they go throughout the fall. A letter will be sent home to you expressing that you can do this virtually, in person, or by phone. Seniors are also involved in these meetings. It's important to speak about different things with your children at home so that when you come to these meetings, you can talk to them about it, you can talk to us about it, and see about a plan, whether it be college, whether it be a transition program, whether it be military, whether it be work. There's all different types of things that our students do from here. It's also important at the senior meeting or at your IEP meeting, depending upon when that is, to discuss about evaluations. Typically, the students throughout the year need an updated psychological and educational evaluation, and we can go through the specific testings that we like to have. They do need it for two different reasons typically. If a student decides that he or she would like to go to a comprehensive program, during that application process, they're going to want updated evaluations along with an IEP and other materials. Also, at the end of the year, which is what we're going through with our senior class this year, they typically, if they're going to college or a transition program and they need accommodations that they've used here, those evaluations are something we send out to either disability services or accessibility services, and that explains what the children do need. So that's something that you should decide at that point. Okay, the next slide, number 3, represents our mission at CHS. Community high school is a unique environment. Most of you know that. And each student's transition plan is extremely individualized. Sarah is going to speak a little bit about that and post-secondary option plans and specialized programs.
Thank you, Joy. And good evening, everybody. My name is Sarah Shortway, and like Joy mentioned, this is a personal and individualized journey tailored for your son or daughter at CHS.
Sarah, I think you have to unmute.
Sorry, I'm managing
No
a lot of
problem,
things
no
right now.
problem.
All right, let me redo it. All right, so thank you, Joy, and good evening, everybody. My name is Sarah Shortway, and as Joy mentioned, this is a personal and individualized journey tailored for your son or daughter after CHS. Sorry, I'm still admitting people in too. There are many different post-secondary options that may include transition programs, a gap year, a certificate program, community colleges in New York and New Jersey, two-year colleges with for students with learning disabilities, four-year colleges with support services or with a comprehensive program, technical schools, the military, and employment. I want to also stress again that choosing a plan is a process unique to your son or daughter, and we are here to assist you every step of the way. The journey may be different for each of you, and we promise to make it as smooth as possible. Some of our students have applied to specialized programs for students with learning differences. The next two slides give a few examples of these programs. There are many schools with comprehensive programs at four-year colleges. Some of these include Project Able and Step Ahead at Centenary, the Learning Resource Program at Adelphi, the Valiant Program at Manhattanville. And actually, I do want to mention that we have representatives from Centenary and Manhattanville here tonight. We also send a lot of kids to the Regional Center at FDU, Pathways at St. Thomas Aquinas, Arch at Dean, and the Institute of Achievement and Learning at Lynn University, but there are many, many more. If your son or daughter has been diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, we can focus on schools that offer ASD programs, such as the Enhanced program at Ramapo, the Cornerstone at SUNY Purchase, the Compass program at FDU, Bridges at Adelphi. Manhattanville also has Pathways and Connections that we'll learn more about later. And another one is the Oasis program at Pace. But this is just to give you guys a few examples. Now, your son or daughter also may not be ready to go away to a four-year school. So therefore, we have a lot of resources and programs that may be a better fit. Some transition programs or two-year schools include, but are definitely not limited to, Thames at Mitchell, various locations of Mansfield Hall, College Experience in Albany, the Leslie Threshold program at Leslie University, Beacon, and Landmark.
Okay, I'm going to jump back in. This slide 8 is a school profile. Now, at the end, you have a reference packet so that you'll be able to print this out. This has a lot of information about Community High School, and we have listed some of the college acceptances in the next two slides that happened this year. There are many, many acceptances this year. We're at the end and we're really excited about our year this year. But in this profile, you will see an entire list of acceptances from last year. So the next couple of slides will just show you some of the acceptances that we've had this year, amongst many. Okay, and then the next slide is the types of admissions and terms. Okay, so there's many different ways. First of all, the main application when you're applying to college is now called the Common Application. And most students use this, and our senior advisors are excellent about working with them. So the different terms that are used, and you've probably heard about some of these, are early decision, which is a binding application process. We really discourage it. We've had very few students that have used it. From time to time, a student does have 100% sure that they want to go somewhere and they will apply early decision, but it's binding. Once you do that, you have to go there. And we honestly, as advisors, know that our students throughout the year change. Things change when you're 17 and 18 years old. Things do change. So we don't encourage the early action, the early decision application. Early action is a different story. That is one where you apply early. Now, if you are a parent and a student who have done your search, you have gone visiting and you know about a handful of applications that you might want to apply to, early action might be for you. What you would do is get your applications all in order, let us know about it, and we will make sure to adhere to deadlines. And typically early action deadlines are November 1st, December 1st. Colleges all have their own, but we would be happy to help with that. So that's the early action. Rolling is definitely something that a lot of our students use, where it's just kind of, you can apply whenever. Colleges don't have deadlines so that you apply. And sometimes if you apply early, you do hear early, but sometimes you apply throughout the spring and you just wait to hear. Now, regular decision is the most common, and that is one where the colleges you have to adhere to their deadline, but they're not early. Some of them may be a February 1st, some may be a March 1st. You even see them into the summer of the next year, which is amazing that you can still have all that time if needed. So regular decision is one where you have to adhere to deadlines, and senior advisors are usually pretty good with keeping up with that with the parents. So speaking of that, we're going to show you in the next slides the senior sample timeline. And Michelle Beretta will now speak a little bit about senior advisement while you're looking over the timeline.
Hi, everybody. I'm Michelle Beretta, and I am a senior advisor. And I want to just let you know that we're there to help you and assist you with everything in coordination with filling out applications and things like that. We're there to help you through the process and hopefully make it a little bit easier for you, because we know it can be difficult and confusing. We are thought of really as coaches and advisors. We do not fill out all of the application. We do help our students individually do that, but we are expecting some help from you at home, and we also do it here at school. So some of the things that the senior advisors do take care of is, when I meet with my students in the beginning of the year, we start by filling out a questionnaire to see if they visited any schools, what they may be interested in, if they'd like to go far away, stay close to home. So we kind of get an idea when we have our senior meeting. And then we proceed to the college application, which the majority of our students are doing the Common App, because there's over 500 schools that use the Common Application. So we start by making a password and a username. We keep track of that. So in case they lose it, we have it, we send it to you, so you can log in at different times. And when we meet with our students, we then make a list of things we want them to do, take home for you to work on as well with them. Most of our kids, as I said, will apply to the Common Application. There also is the SUNY and the CUNY schools, which are New York. And sometimes those have separate applications, which we help with also. We are also helping with timeline. We really have to keep an idea of when applications are due, when the deadlines for schools are, so we keep track of that as well. We show them their transcripts. Sometimes our kids have never seen their transcript, so we give them an example of what a transcript looks like. We go over the testing, whether they've taken SATs, whether they're going to send them or not. And as you know, now more schools are going test optional. So some of our students are not even taking SATs. And that is your choice, whether you want them to take it. We certainly offered here with all their accommodations where they're comfortable taking tests. We go over resume writing and also their essay. We help them pick and choose what they want to do for an essay, which is also taken care of in their English classes as well. We're also responsible for deciding on what teachers they may ask for a recommendation, and we guide them in that area. We discuss planning, organization, and just keeping track of everything they're doing. And lastly, the other thing that we do is, as Sarah was talking about, there's different comprehensive programs that our students will apply to, and those need their own applications. So we put together the questions they may need for that, any kind of testing that Joy will send in addition to the common application. And I think lastly, what everyone needs to be reminded of is that we are planning to send our students off to college to be on their own, and they have to learn how to advocate for themselves, which is the most important skill that they can learn. So we, ask them to come to us when they have a question or go to you as parents for questions. And that's an important goal for them. And also the other thing we do, back to the comprehensive program, is we help them with interviewing skills. They may do that with their speech and language teacher, or one of their advisors can help them with that. So right now I'd like to introduce Margie Linevsky, who is our senior English teacher, who will work on certain skills with resume writing and essay writing.
Good evening, everyone. Nice to see you. As Michelle Beretta said, I'm Margie Linevsky, and I'm one of the senior English teachers at Community. So besides our regular curriculum, the senior English classes will be utilizing the planners. So every senior will get a planner, and that is used for organization, time management techniques, and study methods. We also will be updating the resume. Junior year, they do write a resume, but when they come to us as a senior, we will update with everything that they have done between the summer of junior and senior year. We also do go over asking teachers properly how to ask for letters of recommendation. We are responsible for helping and guiding your student with writing their personal essay, which will be used for their college applications. And we also teach college terminology, pre and post application process. So I hope that answered a few of your questions.
Okay, and I think the next thing I'm going to jump back in is what we send here. And I just want to reiterate that Michelle, Sarah, and myself, we really do work together and make sure that everybody is doing everything in a timely fashion. However, we do try to expect a little bit from our seniors throughout the senior year. We want them to become independent. So being proactive and being self-advocates is very, very important. So we kind of preach that throughout the year, no matter where they're going or what they're doing in the next year. Okay, so a little bit about what we send. We do a lot here at Community High School. We send a lot of the paperwork through the mail as well as digitally or electronically, and we do both at this point. A postcard is always sent home to you so that you as a parent know exactly what we're sending out at all times. So like I think Michelle mentioned, some of our students have never even seen an official transcript, and going down a little bit, you'll see one. So we do send out the official transcript. SAT, ACT scores we spoke about. Like we said, through the pandemic, we didn't send any SAT, ACT scores. They were, everything was so test optional, and it really is leaning towards that way. However, that's your decision on whether you want to have your student take the SAT once or ACT, and then you'll sign up for that. Recommendation letters every year, our teachers are wonderful at writing recommendation letters. If for some reason they don't think they're going to write the most positive thing, they will say no. So advisors will recommend that the student goes to somebody else and really gets the recommendation letters that are going to enhance the application. Number one, the guidance counselor, we all write recommendation letters, and then they usually pick 2 academic teachers. The resumes are a big thing that we like to put in our applications, and some of the representatives here today will say, because test scores aren't that important anymore, showing a really good resume is going to be very important. And Jackie does a lot. She'll be speaking in a little while about community service and other activities that you do inside and outside of community is something that should all be on the resume, and that'll really enhance a recommendation. School profile, you saw there, it's listed, and you can take a look at that tonight. The other thing that we send is the common application has a school report. So we typically fill that out, and that just gives general GPAs and ranking. We do not rank here at school, and none of the colleges have ever had a problem with that. We just say we don't rank, and that's it. Sometimes they do ask for a percentage, and we can figure that out. Then the LD applications is another big component for our students who are using either disability services, accessibility services, along with the comprehensive programs. It's a whole nother application process that we do help our students with. And we like your input as parents as well, what you think should be put on those applications, and paperwork does go along with that. And like Michelle said, interviewing has become a big part of that. Most of the common application colleges don't ask for interviews anymore. Very few of the smaller liberal arts schools will ask, but some of the comprehensive programs will ask for interviews. So we do work on that with our students. Okay, the next slide is about college visits and representatives that come here to our school. Okay, so this is a list of colleges and reps that did come this past fall. In the summer, a new invitation will go out to specific colleges asking if they can send a representative. And some of the people that you'll see later on today have been at our school. This is a great time for our junior class. The upcoming seniors have already had this. Our juniors, our new junior class coming up, will have the first time where they're going to start thinking about different colleges and different programs. Most of the representatives that come really explain college life, and they really do talk a lot about the college application process. And many of our juniors have never really experienced this before. So it's the first experience that they have with this. It's also the first time that they figure out what kind of questions they're supposed to be asking about college life. So we do ask them to come prepared with a few questions. This is the talk that we're all having about them being proactive and thinking about things and being self-advocates, because that's what makes them successful in college. So this is the start when they're juniors to start getting involved in that. Some of the seniors also want to sign up again in the upcoming fall, and we have no problem with that. Either they missed a college the year before, or they're thinking about a different college. So they're more than welcome to be invited. We have a very strict sign-up system. We have a bulletin board where we list the kids, just a group, random, and they can come. If they don't want to go because they've seen it before or they're not interested, they can cross their name off. But if they want to be involved, they can come to every college meeting that comes here. They just have to make sure that they sign up. The other thing is that we do in the spring is we do try to visit, go on field trips to some local colleges. We obviously can't go too far. So we've been to Centenary, we've been to Fairleigh Dickinson, we've been to Manhattanville. This year we are planning some visits. So the juniors presently will have the option to go on some of those trips. We're in the process of setting those up, so we'll let you know when that happens. Okay, slide 18 and 19 are just sample things for you to look at. This is one of our sample resumes that Michelle and Margie referenced. The next slide is our official transcript. The only other thing on the transcript I see that's not on here is a GPA, and we do it with our emblem on it. Our transcripts look very nice going out. The GPA is included on the transcript, so this is just a sample. Okay, the next slides, Sarah will now speak about testing. We talked about SAT and ACT, so she'll talk a little bit about that now.
Okay, as the testing coordinator, I'd like to go over standardized testing for college admissions. CHS offers PSAT and SAT testing for juniors and seniors who have College Board accommodations.
Sarah, you could just change to that slide.
Yeah, sure. Hold on, sorry.
No
There we
problem.
go.
Thank you.
Okay, so don't worry though, because most 10th and 11th graders already have individualized accommodations in place. Some of those accommodations include 50% and 100% extended time, a reader, a 4-function calculator for the non-calculator sections, audio format tests, which is when the test is read through the computer and headphones, extra breaks and extended breaks, and also a scribe for bubbling in the answers. I also want to make mention that test takers are broken up into small groups or individual groups based upon these accommodations. And testing is most often done in 2 days. Joy mentioned before that many colleges have moved to be test optional. Therefore, taking the PSAT and SAT is a personal decision. Then this slide will go over testing dates and cost. The PSAT is the first test offered in October of the junior year. It's super easy to sign up, and it's good practice if you're interested in the SAT, and the cost is $18. Fee waivers are always available for students who qualify. The SAT will be offered to all juniors this May, and a formal letter was sent home through the mail at the beginning of March to parents with SAT information and further information on how to register online. They've eliminated the essay, so now the only cost is $60 to take the SAT. And again, fee waivers are always available for students who qualify. If you choose to wait or you're really unsure about taking the SAT, we also offer the SAT in November and December for CHS seniors. CHS also offers the ACT by request, just because they have a different procedure in getting accommodations. You actually have to register first, and then we have to register for accommodations. So please feel free to always contact me if you're interested, and I would definitely be happy to assist you. Now I would like to introduce Jackie Murray, our transition counselor.
Hello, everybody. So the transition, there are many players in the whole transition planning process. There's, of course, the student, the senior advisor, the CHS guidance team, child study team, the English teachers, and of course, the parents and guardians. And it's always best when we can all work together to create the best plan for your child. Other resources I'd like to mention are your local agencies. In New Jersey, there's DVR, and in New York, there's Access VR. Both of these, the students get information and applications. And both of these services help our students with various types of services like transition counseling, job exploration, career development and training, and even some supported employment. So we start the transition process by using informal assessments. And this is how we get to know the students, like their interests, their experiences that they've had so far, whether with jobs or with different kinds of activities that they do. And we also try to get them to talk about their own strengths and their weaknesses. This information gets updated every year. It's also around this time, I always tell the students, the guidance department tells them to get out there to participate in the extracurricular activities and to volunteer their time and do some community service. By the junior year, I meet with all the students one-on-one. We have a, a junior meeting. Everybody gets some time to discuss possible career paths and plans. And I give them an idea of what's coming up in the early senior year. Excuse me. At this time, depending on the student's interest, some of these students will apply for access or DVR services, though all students get information and application actually gets sent home to the parent or guardian in the early senior year. Then, as Joy said, in the senior year, so you can see all the things they do on the slide, they really start to narrow down their options and they start applying for whatever program they're interested in, and they start doing all of the activities that's involved with that. So when I go into the English classes to work with the students, we do a lot of different kinds of assessments, as you can see, career portfolio worksheet, learning styles survey, interest profilers, occupation sorts. We use the New Jersey Career Assistance Navigator, which is the NJCAN, and that is a web-based transition platform that all the students get a login and they do all of these different kinds of assessments. And it's really great because it keeps all of their information throughout their 4 years here, so they can always go back and see how they did an assessment. They can retake the assessments, and they do this every year that they're here. Lastly, all juniors get the ABCs of college planning. It's a workbook that guides students through choosing colleges, shows them what to look for, gives them tips for interviewing, and really just all kinds of information for making the best choice for themselves. So this is given early on in the junior year, and it's used throughout the senior year.
Okay, so I just want to reiterate with Jackie, she meets with every junior individually, and she does a pretty comprehensive senior inventory so that when we as senior advisors and advisors, she gives it to us and we have some idea of what the student is thinking about. It may be very different than what the parent is thinking about, so it is informative. And then when we have our senior meeting, we combine that with the thoughts that the parents have. So that is helpful. And like she says, getting involved and now you know that you need to have a strong resume, get them involved in any kind of community service, extracurricular activities, work. We find that students that do work, they show some really good work ethic. It transfers into whatever post-educational thing they're going to do in the future. Okay, so the next slide tells you about the financial aid, which I'm just going to go over briefly. I put up the sample FAFSA form. It's the free application for federal student aid. Like I said, you cannot fill this out now. This is a sample. The new one for your students' year will be out on October 1st. It used to be done in January. Now they've moved it to October 1st in the last few years. So it's a nice kind of thing. You can start thinking about this, Kurtz, financially. I mean, it's hard out there. Getting as much money as you can is a benefit. So looking into your tax forms, typically what they need is your tax forms from 2 years previous. So like this one is for the school year 2023-24. I think they were looking at the 2021 tax form. So anything that you can financially get in order so that you have it when you have to fill out your FAFSA is a good thing. And after you file your FAFSA form, what happens is the colleges then do get your comprehensive FAFSA, and they will be sent a reward letter from the individual schools. It's comprehensive, telling you how much funding you will get through the government. So that's the FAFSA form. The next slide just tells you a little bit about some general websites that we use. College Board, CUNY, SUNY, Common App, and there are some scholarship websites as well. Scholarships here at community high school are really done on an individual basis. And basically, you as parents have to really do your research. We have had students in the past where parents have gone out and applied for a ton of scholarships. It's a little bit of work for us. We don't find the scholarships, they do, but we do write specific recommendation letters for them. We do send out the transcripts for them. So we do assist in it, but it is kind of a thing where the parents have to really do their research and find whatever you can out there if you're in the need for money. We do have a couple of our own in-house CHS scholarships. We have what's called the Dennis Cohen Scholarship. He was sort of one of our founders. The director here at Community High School passed away. And this is one of those scholarships where the students really have to be involved. It's an application. You have to write an essay, and you have to have certain requirements like a certain GPA, etc. So when that comes out, it'll be out in the next couple of months for our current seniors. It's a good way to get some scholarship money. Also, our parent association, Michelle is also one of our works with our parent association. They do give out some scholarships at graduation each year as well. So that's one way you can get scholarships within our school. I also want to reiterate that certain districts, you all come from different individual districts. There is money in your own little communities and your own districts. So you should look at those, and it's not, even though you're not using their high schools, they do give money at individual districts. So that's research that you can start looking at. Okay, so I'm just going to conclude, and then I'm going to start introducing some of our representatives. But lastly, I do want to express that even though this might be a trying time for all of you and things don't always work out perfectly, right now we're at the point where our students are getting into colleges, getting into transition programs, making decisions on going into the workforce. And it's really a very gratifying time of year for all of us. So we hope that you will be there in the next couple of years as well. They come in, our students, and they have these big smiles on their faces because they've gotten into the comprehensive program after doing an interview when they've never interviewed before, or they've gotten a job that they didn't think that they were going to get. So it's very gratifying for all of us to at this time of year, and hopefully next year when your students are seniors and we go through the same thing with them. Okay, so we're going to invite our first college, not representative. We have Kevin McMullen, who's going to start because he has to go quickly. He has another meeting, and he is from New York Access VR.
Sorry, Joy, unfortunately, Kevin had to go earlier. He
Okay, all right, so then we'll move on. And like Jackie said, Access VR is something that our students use all the time.
Yes.
And what we do as advisors, Jackie and I think it's like in October sometime, we
Yes.
do a mailing together of all financial FAFSA forms and Access VR and DVR. So you'll see more about that, even though you won't hear from Kevin tonight.
Yes, he did put some information in the chat if you want to look at that later.
Wonderful. All right, so we'll move on to Michelle. She's an admissions advisor at SUNY Purchase. Michelle, are you available?
Hi, everyone. My name is Michelle, and I'm an admissions advisor for SUNY Purchase. First, I want to say thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to come tonight. I'm very excited. I also love speaking about Purchase. If not, I wouldn't be here. So I'll tell you a little bit about Purchase. Purchase is one of the SUNY schools. There's 64 of us. We're one. And we have two focuses, but before I get into the focuses, I'm going to talk a little bit about where we are. So we're in Purchase, New York, which is kind of on the border of Connecticut and New York. We're about 30 miles from New York City, so we're very close to New York City, and we have the opportunity to have all those internships and jobs from New York City, as well as have jobs on campus. We focus mostly in the arts, so dance, acting, graphic design, film, etc. But we also have a focus in humanities, social science, natural science. So there's a whole spectrum of what you could pursue at Purchase. It's more so what you want to do. We also have the Cornerstone program, which our lovely presenters have touched a little bit on before. But what the Cornerstone program is, it's It's a fee-based comprehensive program that's offered to students who are seeking support in, I would say, executive functioning growth and social skill building. So what you could expect is like weekly customized sessions with professional learning specialists. There's group workshops. There's a lot of presentations with campus partners. There's also support sessions with other like learning specialists that are I believe 2 times a week. So again, continued support. There's also peer mentors that help with like dinners and activities so you get to know each other. And there's also like 3 to 4 required social events that you attend per semester. To submit an application, you can learn a little bit on our website. So I'm gonna actually put this in the Zoom chat right here so you can learn a little bit more about the Cornerstone program. And yeah, that's just a little bit about Purchase. I will say that we have 2 ways to submit an application. The presenters were discussing the common application, which is a really common way to submit an application, but we also do the SUNY app. So if you're applying to more than one SUNY school, you might want to just apply to Purchase. And if you want to apply to, let's say, SUNY Oswego, Binghamton, etc., you could also do the SUNY application. There's no preference. It just depends on what you prefer. And we require the application, your high school transcript, a letter of recommendation, and a personal statement, along with if you want to submit a resume. And yeah, that's all.
Just to reiterate, we do have a lot of students that apply to the SUNY and CUNY schools since we have so many New York students. SUNY Purchase is a very popular one. So, and the Cornerstone, now that they have the Cornerstone program, it is something if a student does need help with organization and executive functioning, it's a great program. All right, thank you. We'll move on. All right, another Michelle Meyer from Centenary University, which is very popular here at Community. And they have the Project Able and Step Ahead, and she's going to tell you a little bit about it.
Great. So thank you for having me tonight. I am very happy to be speaking to you all. So Centenary is a small school. It's in New Jersey. It's probably about an hour from Community High School. We have over 50 majors, so there's a lot of different opportunities for students. And what makes us special, I think, is our support programs. Project Able is a comprehensive support program where students have an assigned success specialist that they meet with weekly to work on different academic skills. So it is an academic program. Within Project Able, we also have Bridges, which is a weekly interpersonal skills group where students can kind of meet and talk about some of their other concerns at college. Sometimes it's roommate conflicts or how to get involved in certain clubs and organizations. So that is kind of the only social component of the program. We also offer additional tutoring to students who are in Project Able, so they can get up to an hour a week per class of content-based tutoring. And we do workshops for those students. We also offer a summer bridge program, so a transition program called Step Ahead, which has been pretty popular with community high school students. We typically get at least one of them every year. And that program is a really nice program that runs throughout the month of July. We do 1 week virtual. So the first week, they just acclimate to the classes and workshops and get to know their peers in virtual means. And then for the last 3 weeks of July, they come and live on campus with us from Sundays through Thursdays. They take the same classes they were taking virtually, but then they do it in person. They earn 6 credits. One of the classes is actually a core curriculum requirement, so they do actually complete one of their classes for their degree, as well as earning some elective credits. They meet with success specialists. We run daily workshops on various skills that college students need. We always have a nutritionist come and talk about nutrition on campus. We talk about different kinds of, classroom engagement, professionalism. We talk about hygiene. So we do a bunch of different workshops. And then they also get to do some fun stuff. We have peer mentors, an RA and an events coordinator who are Centenary students who will work the program and help to kind of acclimate the students to the social life. That was the 5-minute tour of Project Able and Step Ahead, but I'm happy to field questions too.
Great. Did you talk about the application process at all? I assume you're test optional as well and such.
Centenary is test optional. They accept the Common App or their app that is on the website. They do always tell me to remind people that if you are applying if you're filling out the FAFSA, make sure to give our code. You want to make sure you fill in for every college you're interested in. And then there is a separate application for Project Able and Step Ahead. It is not an exclusive program. So the application is simply to give us more detail. But as long as you are a student with a disability that impacts learning and you're accepted to Centenary, you will be accepted into our support programs. The only caveat is Step Ahead has a cap of 15 students. So if you're interested in the Step Ahead program, you do want to apply early to get that spot. And that's just a little 2-page application just so we get to know the student. And that's where we ask for all of the documentation, the IEP, the psychological, educational, whatever other evaluations you might have.
And is there a fee for that program?
There is, it's just about $1,500 a semester, but we do have scholarships. We've had some very lovely donors who have donated money so that if the fee is problematic for families, we can offer some scholarship to help.
Great. All right, thank you.
Yep.
All right, we're going to move on to Manhattanville College, and we have Joseph Gaines, or Joe, I think you like to be called.
That's correct. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Joy Community High School, for having me tonight. Appreciate it. I'm Joe Gaines. I am the director in the Center for Student Accessibility over at Manhattanville College. We too are located in Purchase, New York, right around the corner from SUNY Purchase. Over in the Center for Student Accessibility, we engage with students right up to the process of after they've been accepted at Manhattanville College and have decided to enroll at Manhattanville, which accepts the common application and all that sort of standard process for admissions. So after students are enrolled in Manhattanville, they contact our office looking to register for accommodations at the institution. That process is pretty simple. Fill out a short application online, upload any relevant documentation that they might have, and then they put on there what accommodations they've had in the past that might have worked for them previously that they feel might work for them in college. We engage in a sort of more interactive process at the college level. As you might know, the laws and everything sort of change as you go from high school to college and things become a bit different. So part of that process is to engage with every single student who comes through the door in that sort of one-on-one intake interview, and also to sort of help guide students through that process of self-advocacy. For a lot of students, this is that first time where they're really engaging and letting somebody know, this is really what's worked for me and what I think will work for me going forward, and just kind of having a conversation of this is what supported me best on tests in the classroom, etc. During that process of applying for accommodations, they indicate to us that they might be interested in either of our fee-based support programs, which are extra and separate from our accommodations at the college. The most popular program that we have is called the Valiant Learning Support Program. That is a fee-based program. It's 3 hours a week with a learning specialist. All of our learning specialists are master's degrees holders with experience in special education or working with students with disabilities. That program, primarily its main function is executive functioning, time management, the writing process. Essentially, you make that transition to college where those the academic process is so different. You go from kind of the same consistent schedule every day to now that very different college schedule with all of that extra free time, or what looks like a lot of free time. And our learning specialists help students break down assignments, schedule their assignments, look at long-term, short-term, chunking everything down to become more manageable, and then ultimately engaging in the individual assignments that students have as kind of that springboard to support them academically. They use the student schedules before the semester even begins to find those hours in the week so that they can meet. So they work around student schedules to keep it consistent. They have the same learning specialist semester over semester. It's a great program. We have roughly 65 students enrolled in it currently. We don't really have a cap on it or anything like that. The only sort of caveat I put on that is if students come to us after the semester has begun, we may need to do a little shuffling around. But ultimately, as long as you give us an indication that you're interested, we can put your name on the list and guarantee you a learning specialist starting in the start of the semester. Our other fee-based program that we have is for students on the autism spectrum. It's called the Pathways and Connections program. That program is primarily designed as a program for social executive functioning. Is sort of making that transition into college, learning about all of the different resources, people, offices, opportunities on campus, folks you can engage with, kind of transitioning into that college experience a little bit. The PAC program, or Pathways and Connections program, has a peer mentoring component, a one-on-one weekly component with the PAC coordinator. Her name is Claudia, as well as social events, both on and off campus. And essentially just ways for students to just kind of connect with each other, connect with the college campus as a whole, develop professional career goals, engage with the different offices, different folks on campus. Colleges can be sort of very overwhelming in terms of where everything is located, who you can and should engage with, and all of those sorts of things. PAC really helps make those sort of transitions. Both programs, if you're signed on to them, we offer a pre-orientation transition program at the end of the summer for students to move in a couple of days early, learn the college campus. We show you how to access your accommodation letters, send them off to your professors, make sure you understand the process to utilize the testing center, that your accommodations and support systems are sort of all in place for you before, day one even begins. And just broadly, our office offers general advocacy and support for students. There's no problem too small that you can't bring to myself, my assistant director, Kate, or our accommodations coordinator, Sam. We are happy to meet any student with any question they might have. Even if you don't know where your first class is on day one, we're happy to show you where it is.
Great, thanks, Joe. Personally, I just did want to say something. I think that having sons that did graduate from college, the experience of being on campus before a semester starts and learning the campus, navigating the different classrooms and the dorm life is just so important. So these programs that do have that for you, it's very important. I had one son that had to do a summer program, and to this day, he says he made every friend from that summer program, and it was just such a great experience for him. So I do think that's a nice thing that some of these comprehensive programs do offer. Okay, I think we're moving on to Bergen. Yes, Bergen Community College, and that's right in here, Bergen County, right near Teaneck. And Tracy Rand has offered to speak a little bit about it today.
Hi, Joy. Again, thank you for inviting Bergen to tonight's presentation. We're happy to be here. And again, for anyone who lives within Bergen County, we are a local, affordable option for students to start their college career. They can obtain their associate's degree or one of the academic certificates and then move on as a transfer student to a local or out-of-state school. I'm the director for disability services, in addition to other access and transition services available at the college. Our office supports students with disabilities that are attending Bergen. We are fortunate to have academic counselors, licensed personal counselors, and accommodation specialists within the Disability Services Office that can support students' needs while they're attending the college. That can be weekly academic check-in appointments, in addition to registration and degree assistance over the time that they're with us. We have personal counselors that are going to assist students with any of those anxiety issues that they might have coming in as a new student. They can also schedule ongoing appointments with our licensed personal counselors on an as-needed basis during their time at the college. If anyone is familiar with Bergen, we have a nationally recognized learning assistance center, the Cerullo Learning Assistance Center, that serves over 7,000 students a year. All of those tutoring services are free. They can be done on campus or remotely. Now that we've all come through the pandemic, the internet is our friend, as we see tonight being on a Zoom meeting. So many students still take advantage of those remote opportunities for tutoring. Something new at Bergen over the last year is a service through the Learning Assistance Center that's called academic coaching. And academic coaching would help students with executive functioning needs, in helping them to manage their schedule. Weekly appointments can be made. That can be done every semester. It can be done more than once a week if there is a need. And what we found over these last 2 semesters is it's benefited many, many students that are working with the Disability Services Office. And we're thrilled that this service is available to students. And again, it's at no cost. In addition to disability services at the college, Bergen was recently awarded a grant through the Office of Higher Education in New Jersey to develop an adult transition center. The transition center serves students with a variety of needs. We're just starting providing services. It could be somebody on the autism spectrum who is going on to complete their associate's degree, but maybe needs some mentoring support or additional assistance in scheduling their classes or getting connected with the campus. Again, this is a new program that we're offering, and for more information, I can put some information in chat so that people can reach out, but we're really excited about this because it allows us to provide enhanced services at no cost presently to the students who require it. So we're looking forward to the coming school year and expanding our services based on this new program. I'm supposed to be representing Julie Field, who is with our admissions office. So before I get off, I'm also going to put some basic information in chat. If anyone has questions about the programs or the services that Bergen does offer, I'm going to put in information in so you can get in touch with admissions as well as myself. If you have any questions or concerns regarding the services that we offer, please reach out to me directly at Bergen, and I appreciate the time and being able to share these resources with everyone.
Great, that's perfect. Yeah, Julie Field is the person from Bergen that we work with in the admissions office, and she couldn't be here, so Tracy filled in, which was wonderful. And yeah, so any information on that, we can definitely give to the parents at some point. The other thing that I do want to say before we move on to Colleen and the transition type program is CUNY has a wonderful City University of New York system, which is basically community college and 4-year colleges. Many of our students are using them. A lot of the students do, a lot of the colleges do have disability services. Eddie De Leon, our CUNY representative, comes every year. He happened not to be able to come tonight. So if anybody's interested in starting to look into that kind of thing, we can give you his name. That's the City University of New York. Okay, next up is Colleen, and she's from the College Experience Program at the College of St. Rose and Career Next at SUNY Cobleskill, and she'll talk about her transition program.
Hi, and thank you for having me. My name is Colleen Durgasitz. I'm the Director of College Programs. I'm here to speak tonight about 2 different opportunities and paths. The Career Next program is a program that is a fee-for-service program, and we're currently hosted on the campus of SUNY Cobleskill, SUNY Schenectady, and Hudson Valley Community College. Career Next is what's considered a fee-for-service program. So we're hosted on the college campus, and students can apply to Career Next after they have admissions to the college. And our goal is to assist the student with academic support services and executive functioning supports so that they're able to obtain their degree. So we have students that are enrolled in all of those 3 locations, whether it be accredited certificate, an associate's or bachelor's degree. When students enroll in our program, they're assigned an academic coordinator, and that is their designated person who works with them throughout the semester and typically throughout the life of their degree. When we work with the student, we're really involved in all aspects. So we're helping them register for classes, kind of learn the accommodation systems on campus, developing their accommodation letter, sending out their accommodation letter, communicating with professors when they need assistance with that, or maybe even going and locating a tutor. In addition to that, we have on-campus classrooms, and in our classroom is when the students would have dedicated time throughout the week. It's about 7 hours a week where they're going to come to our classroom, and we set that time based upon their accredited classes first. So we're working with the students when they're not in their classes, but it can be anything from writing papers, editing papers, studying for tests or quizzes, time management, organizational skills. Like I said, setting up those accommodation letter testing accommodations if a student has a test that's coming up. It's really their place to go to when they need assistance with their assignments, but also a place to go to if they're feeling overwhelmed and they need a place to discuss what's going on, maybe in their class, a group project that they're struggling with to help them problem solve. In addition to our 3 locations, we're also launching what we're referring to as Career Next Choice, which will be a virtual option, allowing students to receive Career Next services at any college of their choosing. So that's brand new to us, and we'll be starting that this summer. So we're very excited to be able to expand our program to students that are looking at colleges outside of our 3 partnered locations. In addition to Career Next, we also have a program called the College Experience, and that program is hosted at the College of St. Rose in Albany, New York. It's a post-secondary non-credit based college opportunity. It's a great option if students are looking for maybe a gap year before moving on to a traditional college setting. In the College Experience, our goal is for students to gain the skills to live independently and maintain competitive employment. So while they do not have to meet admissions to the College of St. Rose itself, they just have to apply to the College Experience. Our students are given academic and residential supports. We currently have 53 students in the program. We have 10 dorms, which are all houses within walking distance to the campus. All of our students have their own bedroom and they have an RA that helps them with independent living skills, menu planning, grocery shopping, cooking, and cleaning. However, during the day, they are taking classes on the campus of St. Rose. Those classes are non-credit, executive functioning, and life skill based courses. And they also have the opportunity to audit any St. Rose class of their choosing. In their second year, we also incorporate internships. So they're all personalized internships based upon the student's interest. Students would take classes 3 times a week in their second year, and then twice a week have that personalized internship. The overall goal for College Experience is that students are able to one day move out of our program and directly into their own apartment and maintain at least part-time employment. And for students that attend College Experience and want to stay in the area post-graduation, we do have a program called the C2L program where we're helping students find a local area-based apartment, and we continue on with employment supports and wean off as needed. We do have many students that will use College Experience first and then move on to our Career Next program as well. So it's really nice that we're able to offer a continuum of supports. Both of our programs have their own application process, and I'll put that in the chat. It's all found on their websites, which is thecollegeexperience.org and careernext.org.
Great, thank you. So I think that's the end, right, Sarah? So we thank everybody for coming tonight. We thank all of our college reps that some of them had to leave, I believe, but they were definitely informative. We will take some questions and answers, have a little Q&A now if anybody has. I did see one thing about SATs. Are students who don't take SATs penalized by the colleges? And I think, Sarah, you might want to chime in about this, but what I found with the application process is that if the student does take an SAT and does very, very well, it could only enhance the application. I don't think we would ever send an SAT score if the application is test optional, unless it would really enhance it. Sarah, do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I would say, I think Joy would agree that we have the lowest number of students taking the SAT and even the PSAT, and even a lesser amount of kids sending the SAT. So it's all individualized. We'll take a look at the scores and we'll take a look at the student as a whole package. And if we feel like it will help them get into a specific school, we will certainly send those. But overall, we really haven't been sending them that often.
And I think there was a question about us visiting Centenary. Like I said before, typically in the spring, we do try to do a few trips to the local ones, and Centenary is one on our list. So we're hoping that we can take a group there. Other questions? Did I miss any?
I think I got a direct question asking about getting this meeting sent to us. I am recording it, so I can send it to all participants and anyone who may have missed it also.
Right, and like we said at the end, you do have the PowerPoint now, and there is the school profile, right, Sarah?
Yeah, so we, in our original invitation for the Zoom, with the Zoom information, we sent the PowerPoint and we also sent the digital copy of the school profile for your reference.
Any other questions? I think we did a pretty comprehensive job. The only thing I will say, and we've done this for many, many, many years, is it's like I said, not only do students apply to the Asperger's programs or the comprehensive programs, we do have students every year who do apply to general liberal arts colleges, and then they use disability services or accessibility services. But college campuses are very hard to navigate. So we always say we have students that go away who academically can handle a lot, but they fail dorm. They are just not ready to go away. So we hope that we do our job here to have them become a little bit more of a self-advocate and kind of take them into different places and on college tours where they can navigate things a little bit. So what I will say is now is the time for you to start thinking about just going on some general tours. This spring is the time. Summer is not the best time to go to colleges because most students are not on campus, so you don't get a good feel for it. So we would say in the fall is a great time for our students to go. And right now, our seniors are all going to what's called accepted student days. Those are wonderful things that once students get accepted into these colleges to make the final decision, they go to these accepted student days and they get a real feel for the different colleges and then make their decision, and they deposit by May 1st, which is the national deadline. Any other questions?
Joy, there's a question in the chat about letters of recommendation and kind of how to go about that process. So I think we talked a little bit about it before, but typically we encourage the students to ask their teachers, probably about 2 of them, and then we'll also write a counselor recommendation letter. So at the start of September, we'll make sure that the resume is up to date so they can actually give the resume to the teacher to use for the letter of recommendation. And all senior advisors can assist the students in asking in an appropriate way.
And they do. The senior advisors help out a lot with that, along with sometimes on the resumes that we do here at school, there are things that a student has done outside and we have no idea. So at senior meetings, when we're there, the parents are like, oh, well, she's been an opera singer at the Y for 4 years and it's not on the resume. So we had a very talented student this year, which we had no idea about. So we like to send the resume home as well, or get the input from you parents and have a real good resume, comprehensive resume.
The next question is about, do we give the ASVAB? So the ASVAB is the Armed Service Vocational Aptitude Battery to get into the military. So Jackie, do you want to answer that a little bit? We haven't given it here, but we can assist each student if you want to elaborate on that a little more, Jack.
Sure. Yeah, we don't administer that test here. However, if a student is interested in the military and after I have a conversation with the parent or guardian, I have held study sessions with students in order to prepare them for the ASVAB. And at that point, students have typically been working with a recruiter. So that's where they make their arrangements to take the ASVAB out of school. But I could always, we can work with the student, like Sarah said, individually and try to guide them in that process as well.
And you've done that before.
Yes. Yes.
We've had students that are interested in the military and you do help out with that.
Mm-hmm.
I see this question, Sarah, about CUNY and SUNY. Is that where we're up to? My feeling is, working with the CUNY and the SUNY system, that test optional is going to stay for a pretty long time. I anticipate, definitely next year. I have a feeling that they're not going to come back, but that's something that I will reach out to Eddie DeLeon, our CUNY rep, and I have a SUNY person to see if 2024 they think that it's going to go that way. But I have a feeling it's going to stay as test optional. I will say that our students are getting into more of the CUNY schools now, even the four-year more competitive ones like Hunter, Lehman, because it is test optional. So they base it on resume, they base it on GPA and transcript. So we have students that are getting into ones that they would not have gotten into the past, might not be the best place for them. So we may recommend still the community college start and then go to the four-year CUNY school from there. So that's on an individual basis.
I think we hit on all the questions in the chat. Maybe we'll just give a couple more minutes if anybody wants to add any more questions.
And like Sarah said, I believe we are recording this time so that if anybody knows anybody that missed it this evening, because we did send it out to all the upcoming junior and senior parents, we're happy to send it there, right?
Yes.
All right, I think what's going to happen is we're going to be seeing everybody in the fall for your senior meetings. Okay, or not the junior parents. The juniors
Yes, it
will
was
be the
very,
year after.
it was very informative. I appreciate it. Thank you.